I'm looking for Dr. Page.
Yeah, right here.
Hi, Dr. Page.
Hi, nice
Kevin
to see
McGarry
you.
Show with ADP.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Do you care if I take a seat?
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. And can I put my things down?
Yeah, of course.
Great. Before we start, let me hand you a business card. After our meeting today, if you have any concerns whatsoever, please go ahead and reach out to me. That has my personal information on it.
Okay, perfect.
Do you have one as well for me?
I don't have it on me right
It's
now,
fine.
but I'll get you one.
That's
for sure.
fine. I can definitely write that information down.
Okay, perfect.
And before we even start, I wanted to let you know, I've been through a ton of hospital reception rooms and different clinic reception rooms. This is fantastic.
Well,
This
thank you.
space is absolutely pristine, and the location is gorgeous. How'd you get a hold of such a prime spot?
Yeah, so I have family in real estate and my friend's an interior designer, so they kind of hooked us up.
Yeah, it looks great. Well, before I really start today, I want to ask you one thing. Is it okay if I take notes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Great. And I know that when I had originally talked to your assistant, Kim, she told me that 20 minutes would be good for today's meeting. Is that okay?
Yeah, that should be perfect.
Okay, great. And so just in the interest of staying on time, I kind of want to run over a quick agenda. Does that sound okay with you?
Okay.
Great. So first, I want to learn a little bit more about you and your clinic and how you process payroll.
Okay.
And then throughout the rest of our conversation, I'll sprinkle in a little bit of information about ADP. And at the end, if everything goes well, Dr. Page, we'll see how we can work together in the future to save you time and money.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Sounds like a plan.
Is there anything else that you'd like to discuss today?
No, that all sounds good.
Great. Well, just to start, Dr. Page, can you tell me a little bit about what you know about ADP?
Well, I have a friend that sells paychecks, so I'm assuming it's something similar to that.
It is. It's a little bit larger.
Okay.
And here's a little bit of just an infographic that you can keep with you at the end of this meeting. But ADP has been around for 65 years.
Okay.
As you can see from this graphic, we do a lot of different things. Over those 65 years, currently we're helping about 600,000 clients globally.
Okay.
Of that 600,000, about 400,000 are small companies such as yourself. And that's the division I work in, which really makes me excited to be able to come here and work with you today.
Okay.
So I know that when I talked with Kim, she had told me about a couple other people in the business, but being the practitioner and the owner of the clinic, is there anyone else that might need to be in this meeting today if we were to make a decision?
Yeah, so my husband, he really works on a lot of the business side, the admin and kind of the back of house stuff. So he unfortunately is not able to join us. He is homesick with the kids, but he'll be definitely a part of that decision.
Okay, that's fantastic. Great, and that's Ethan, correct?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Now, just getting into it really quick, Kim had given me some information about the clinic, and I want to confirm some of that with you.
Okay.
So, if you could just go ahead and tell me, how many employees do you currently have between both offices?
45. No, sorry, 35.
35?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
20
great.
in Noonan and then 15 in Peachtree.
Okay, fantastic. And are any of them paid hourly, or are they all on salary?
We have a mix of hourly and salary.
Okay, great. And with the 2 locations open now, are there any thoughts of opening a third in the future, or are we focusing just on these 2 for today's meeting?
I'd say for today's meeting too, with keeping in mind that we do want to expand it in the next couple of years. So, I mean, if we were to make any changes, I would want this to be able to move and evolve with that
Fantastic.
expansion.
Fantastic. That sounds great. Well, I want to show you this little graphic really quickly, and this is the 3 ways that I really help my businesses out. So I do 3 things with ADP. I do cash management for my clients, I do people management, and I do risk management.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Of these 3, which one keeps you really up at night, Dr. Page?
I'd say the biggest thing with our goals to expand would be the cash management. That's definitely important.
Okay. And I mean, currently with the cash management, Kim had informed me that Ethan was kind of doing some of the payroll things. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so he takes care of it for us using an off-the-shelf payroll system bi-weekly.
Okay. You said bi-weekly, correctly?
Yes.
Okay. How many hours would you say he spends a period doing this?
I'd say about 4
For
on average.
for a
Per
week or for the full period?
for bi-weekly, yeah.
Okay.
Every other week.
And that's just on payroll, correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I'm not sure if you've really looked into that at all, but do you know roughly how much money that would cost you?
In terms of his working hours?
Yeah, let me rephrase that, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If you were to give Ethan a price per hour, I guess, how much would you be willing to pay him in terms of that 4 hours a week on that?
Yeah, I don't really have a number breakdown for that. What I can say is we are spending $1,500 a year on the upgrades, just to kind of make sure we stay relevant with it.
Okay, and so you wouldn't give him an hourly wage or anything like that? You wouldn't name anything on that?
Yeah, I don't really have anything off the top of my head for that right now.
Okay, and that's completely fine. We can move past that now. Besides, the cash management standpoint, how is the HR side of your clinic run?
Yeah, I mean, he really handles a lot of that as well. He kind of just, everything that I can't take on my plate, I kind of throw on his plate.
Okay.
So, I mean, he's extremely busy between, the payroll and admin and the kids and, especially if we are trying to hire 5 more employees, I don't even know when he'd have time to do the background checks.
Okay, of course, and that's something that I see with a lot of clinics. It's just a little bit easier to kind of bring someone in from a family member and do that. So
Yeah.
trust me, you're not alone on any of that.
Yeah.
Now, I know that earlier you said that it was an off-the-shelf system that Ethan's been using, and can you tell me a little bit more about that process?
Yeah, so I mean, I know he has to input certain information manually. I think other is automatically calculated. It's called Microsoft Dynamics GP. I don't know if you're familiar
Okay, yeah,
with
of course.
it. But yeah, so I mean, just kind of a mix of different tools that he uses. Overall, it feels fairly inefficient, I guess. I mean, I definitely think he has to maybe go to different areas for information on that bi-weekly basis instead of it all being in one place. So we definitely want to become more efficient, especially as we're expanding as a business.
Of course. So if I'm hearing you correctly, you would say one of the big issues with this is that it's not fully automated and not fully streamlined.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, let me take one quick note there. So with your HR issues, you said that kind of falls back on Ethan as well, correct?
Yes.
How many hours a week do you think that he spends doing that? I know that you said earlier 4 for the payroll. What about for HR?
Yeah, so that'll vary depending on kind of where we're at with hiring or what that issue is. I would say right now he's busy, so when we do have any additional HR work, we don't have time for it.
Okay. And Kim had told me that he was spending almost 15 hours a week just updating customer segments for your database. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, with all that data included, what I've kind of done here and looked at, you're about average. He's spending about 931 hours a year doing these things.
Wow.
It's pretty extreme when you actually think about it that way. So,
Yeah.
with the potential another office opening in the future, how do you think that those hours could be better allocated towards your business?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely could see other options that would be more beneficial than him doing this payroll for sure.
Yeah. Anything in particular?
I mean, heck, even interacting with the patients, kind of being that additional, relationship for them, be able to spend more time with the kids.
Of course, generating revenue, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. And you just mentioned that you have two kids. How old are they?
Yeah, so they're 4 and 5.
4 and 5. Okay. And how has Ethan been so busy? I don't even want to know how many hours you're putting into the clinic because that's usually a lot higher than this position. And so with both of you being so busy, how is that reflected on the kids?
I mean, I definitely, there's definitely weeks that are harder than others.
Mm-hmm. And how much more time do you think that they would have if he didn't have to process payroll and HR?
I mean, I think, a couple hours a day even.
Yeah, and that's huge. I mean, that's one thing that I always learned. I don't have children yet, but in the future, I think that one thing that's been clear to me is that you can't really put a price on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so,
yeah, no, go ahead.
No, what were you going to say?
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, I guess, I hear software. I guess I'm curious at how it's going to save me money.
Of course, and I would love to show you that. If you let me, I'll pull out the app here in a second, kind of show you how we can go through that app, and then I can break down some different price points for you.
Okay.
How's that sound?
Yeah.
So, pretty much is what, for the reports that you're running on this, do you know how Ethan's getting those reports back? Is he receiving it via email, in the mail? How
I
is that
think
working?
via email.
Okay. So, if ADP could pretty much provide you with a platform that would streamline this for you and make it a little bit quicker while saving you time and money, is it something you think that you might be interested in?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So is there anything else today that you would like to discuss regarding your payroll system, HR, or just the clinic in general?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think we've gone over quite a bit of it. I guess I would just kind of be debating, like, hey, do we go this route, or do I just hire an accountant and put it off on them? So
Of course.
We'll see.
Yeah, and that's somewhere I'd love to chat with you about it soon. So in order to really give you the full 10,000 feet overview of this, I'd love to show you the app. So you can ever take my phone out really quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
So now one of the big things that we use is an app called ADP Run. ADP Run is a way that you'll always be able to manage your payroll. So if Ethan's out with the kids or something like that and he goes, oh my gosh, I forgot to do payroll, that's something where he can just go in really quickly, tap a few buttons, and it's done.
Okay.
So for our purposes here, we're just going to view a demo. So all of these numbers will be just random numbers, not anything special to your business. So if you could for me, can you go ahead and click payroll down here at the bottom? This is your homepage. It'll have a lot of bells and whistles, but this will be the best for us today. Now, instead of starting a new one, let's go with one that's already in progress. Can you hit that for me?
Okay.
And now again, this is stuff that you might not be seeing all the time, but this is something that's really gonna help Ethan and get those hours and that money back into your business.
Okay.
So this right here just goes over a couple of quick things. This shows you the check date, the day the check would be sent out, the start date for the pay period, and the end date.
Okay.
And then direct deposit. Is direct deposit something that you offer?
I think so.
Okay, fantastic. Well, if 1 week, for example, I know that sometimes around the holidays, employers don't want to send out direct deposit because of how difficult banking can be shut down. It's all confusing. This is one way where you can just toggle that off just for that pay period.
Okay.
So if you can, go ahead and resume down in the right-hand corner for me. Now this shows you, and you said this is great for you. You said that you have some employees that are on salary, some employees that are hourly.
Yeah.
This shows you all of the employees that you have, all the expenses you're gonna have with those employees. And so you even have, look at this, clean officing. So even your cleaning company is put on here. So you really know every single member. So go ahead and click on one for me, on one of your employees. So now this is interesting. You chose Karen. Karen's obviously an hourly employee, and it shows that she worked 35 hours this week. Does that look about right to you?
Mm-hmm.
Great. So now you can scroll through here, you can see anything that might be included with them, the taxes that are going to be paid on them, pretty much everything that you could ever need to know about this.
Yeah.
You could, again, this is not going to be necessarily for you. This is going to make Ethan's life a lot easier,
Right.
spend more time with you in the office and especially with the kids. So if you go ahead and hit if this all looks good, you can go ahead and hit preview for me. Hit calculate, and then it's going to ask you to do it one more time, I believe. Or not yet. So here is the thing that you're going to see. I'm
Okay.
sure that you probably see this in a much bigger Excel sheet once a week or once a pay period, I'm sorry. This will show you a huge view from the top of what your business is doing. So it's going to show you the cash required for this pay period. It's going to show you the totals. It's going to show you for each employee how much you're paying. It's also going to show you taxes on all of those. And so this is a really good way for an owner of a business such as yourself, which many of my clients use, to really monitor their expenses while not
Yeah.
having to dive so deep into
Okay.
it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Can you go ahead and hit approve for me? One more time. Boom, it's done.
Okay.
So it took us what, a minute to process
Yeah.
your payroll?
Not bad.
That's absolutely incredible, and especially if you're saying that it's taking that much time for you to monitor your payroll or for Ethan to monitor your payroll, that's absolutely amazing. But
Yeah. So can you tell me about I guess then the ROI on each product, because that looked good for the payroll, but what about the other ones?
of course, and that's another quick thing I can show you here. So you said that Ethan's also doing the HR aspect
Yeah.
as well. Do you think that he spends more time on HR?
The payroll?
Yes.
It depends on the time. As I mentioned, if we're onboarding people, yes, but when we're not hiring anyone, it's about the same.
Of course. So let me just show you something really quickly here. You can go into here, and there's an entire human resources
Okay.
section for it. And so he's going to save time as well as that. And the best part is this isn't a different product. This all comes bundled as one.
Okay.
So to show you somewhat of the prices that we do offer for this, I'm going to go ahead and grab this out really quickly. So you said that you have 35 employees, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So with 35 employees, you're going to be paying $59 roughly per office per pay period.
Okay.
Now, as well as how do you have your people or your employees that are clocking in? How do they clock in? Do they use just a regular punch, or do they track your number on a
I
sheet?
think so. Or no, they track it on a sheet.
Okay, this as well down here for a fantastic buy. On top of it, an add-on would be for a digital tracking. So it would be completely tracked into the system. You would never have to log it. Ethan would never have to log it. So
Okay.
again, this is saving you a lot more money. Getting back to your question though of ROI, I needed to show you that really quickly. I went ahead and wrote something up. So you said that you think he's spending about 4 hours a week just doing payroll.
Okay.
Or 4 hours of pay period just doing payroll. Grabbing my calculator here, I'm going to be able to do this really quickly for you. So that's 104 hours a year doing payroll. Does that sound about right?
Okay. Sure.
Now, of course. Now you said earlier that it would be tough for you to value that hourly wage. Let's say you pay your other employees between $13 and $15. That's about the going rate.
Okay.
Let's go. He's your husband. Let's give him a little bit of a higher one there.
Okay.
Okay. We'll go with 15 hours. So if we're going to do 104 times 15, that's $1,560 that you would be paying on that service. Okay. Now, that's not even including the $1,500 package that you're including and the estimated, from what Kim had told me, around $500 just for mailing. So total right there, you're looking at $2,000 plus that, you're looking at over $3,500 just for that. Now, ADP, just for their payroll service and with the clocking in, on a yearly basis is going to cost you under that by $3,225. This isn't including the time that
$300?
$3,225.
Less, that's the total?
Yes, that would be the total
Okay.
for a year, but this is just including your hard costs for payroll. This
Okay.
is not including the time that it's taking him to do any HR. This is not including the time that it's taking him to update any customer preferences or any
Okay.
client preferences. So as you can see here, this is already going to save you so much time. Your banking fees are going to be gone because you're going to be doing banking through us. Everything else that you would have to pay as far as payroll, any expenses like that, are all covered now, and it's something you don't have to worry about.
Right, okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so does that answer the ROI question that you had then?
Yeah, I mean, this all sounds good. You know, I guess my only other concern would be, you know, I'm not really a fan of like long-term contracts or commitments with this type of stuff, especially with us looking to expand. I don't know if I'm comfortable with that right now.
That's fantastic. ADP is on a payroll-to-payroll system, and so you don't pay us until
Okay.
you process the payroll.
Okay, so on a like bi-weekly
Yeah,
basis?
yeah. There's no contract whatsoever.
Okay, that's good to know.
And we think that that's, you know, a really good benefit for smaller companies, because as expansion's happening, we don't want you to have to continue to tack on that price for a contract year after year.
Right,
Does that
okay.
make sense?
Yeah.
Great. So is that any other concerns that might have come up after showing you the app?
No, I mean, that all looks like a positive opportunity.
Great. Now, I know that we've talked a lot today, and thank you. I want to try to get done a little bit quicker for you today, and so I thank you for keeping with me, and I know that I showed you how we could save you time and money in the app as well as streamlining it. One thing that I did forget to mention with the app that is pretty pivotal, so I want to take a step back, is that this entire app is through the cloud. And so
Okay.
you said that one of the things is that some of the stuff you have to input manually, some stuff isn't. This is all streamlined, so it's all going to be done automated for you,
Okay.
as well as if you are out of the office and you need to file payroll and you only have your phone, you're not by your computer,
Yeah.
it's all going to be there, it's going to be updated, so it's no issues.
Okay.
That convenience is there. Can you see the value in that?
Yeah.
Great. Now, what we looked about before was that big number I showed you, $3,225 per year. We want to talk about not having contracts, so that comes down to about $78 per payroll process. Does that sound feasible?
Yeah, that doesn't sound too,
Okay.
extreme.
And I know that we want Ethan to be in on this meeting. I completely understand that. I don't
Yeah.
want to rush anything. So I think that the best way for me to do is kind of write some of this stuff up just to show you this in hard writing from our end.
Okay.
And then I could be back around next Thursday morning if that works for you, and we can set up a meeting with Ethan to see
Yeah,
if
that would be
works.
good, because then we can talk about some stuff over the weekend, kind of crunch some numbers, so I think that makes sense.
Of course. Is there anything that you would like me to shoot you over before the weekend starts so you can?
Yeah, any breakdown of numbers would be good.
I'll have that out to you by the end of the day tomorrow.
Awesome.
Okay, and one last question before I go, Dr. Page, is I'm sure that you might have some friends or some colleagues that run clinics or other small businesses. Do you think that there are any of them that might value from the conversation we've had today?
Yeah, probably. Let me, we have Dr. Steiger, he's down the road, maybe he'd be a good one to reach out to.
Yeah, I'll definitely reach out to him. All right.
Perfect.
Thank you very much for your time today, Dr. Page.
Alright, thanks.
How'd it go?
Really good.
Thank you.
You seem really prepared. You did a lot of research and
I was stumbling up on some of it, but that was just because
I think so.
kept a lot of it. But cool, I'm glad that it was.
How do you feel?
I thought that I prepared a lot better for how it went.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Okay.
These aren't mine, so I should probably take these. But I thought that I prepared a little bit better than for how it went. There were just a couple of sometimes I think I get almost too scripted, and then I go with I know that you really wanted to hit ROI before I presented, and I kind of had it so my presentation would lead into ROI.
Yeah,
And so
I
adjusting
agree.
on the fly like that, I think might have messed me up a little bit, but.
Well, no, not really. I mean, I think it's good to address the customer issues. Because especially with the grading and everything, I think that's good. I mean, because that's real life.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how he thinks.
Yeah, I think
thought
you'll
that
look
went-
back on it and I don't think you'll be as harsh on yourself. I think you
I'm
did a
also
really good
probably
job.
the toughest grader on myself.
Yeah,
ever,
don't
but-
worry, we all are,
Yeah,
trust me.
cool. Thank
Well,
you
good
very
job.
much. Thank you.
Good luck.